Ryan Grimm at The Intercept bringing a story about a race in California. One of the candidates is Josh Butner. He is running as a Democrat. That's in Duncan Hunter's seat. And running against him is Ammar Campa-Najjar. He's been on the program. We'll get to him in a second, but Josh's story is the interesting one here. So apparently Butner certified with the California Secretary of State that he had no party preference since 2008, and Grimm has uncovered that that is not true. So there's several layers to this story. It turns out that his filing said that he registered as a Democrat in 2016, only 4 months before his bid for Congress. In reality, he did not vote in any elections, either primary or general, between 2010 and 2016. And in 2012, he switched his voter registration status from Republican to no party preference. So, and in 2008 presidential campaign, he voted in the Republican primary and then in the general. So now, first layer is that he apparently was not truthful to the California Secretary of State. That's a significant problem. And the second layer to the story is that he was a Republican until very recently. So I want everybody to be clear. Just because you're a Republican once doesn't mean I'm going to count you out or that anyone should. Now, it's easy for me to say that because I used to be a Republican. So I don't want you dismissing me or anyone else who comes over the right side of the issues and has an awakening or sees what the Republican Party is up to. But I left the Republican Party decades ago, but even if you left yesterday, God bless your heart and come on over and vote for the right side. To me, that's not the biggest issue. I think the biggest issue is the Democratic Party and who they support, because this is not the first time this is happening. It's happening in many different races. They are supporting Butner as opposed to Ammar Campa-Najjar, who actually has raised more money than either Butner or the incumbent Republican, Duncan Hunter Jr. in that race. So Campa-Najjar has raised $725,000, all from small donors. He's a Justice Democrat, so he doesn't take any corporate PAC money. Butner, with a ton of business and Democratic Party help, has raised $599,000, and Hunter has raised $671,000. So why, and Campa-Najjar has a ton of volunteers, has all of the momentum, but part of the problem here is in California, you have runoffs where the top two vote getters, regardless of party, goes into the general election. And if a bunch of Democrats split the vote in that district, which is more heavily Republican historically, you might have two Republicans that advance. So that's an issue. But the Democrats look at that and go, all right, then we should let the guy who's almost a Republican run and not the guy who has a ton of grassroots support and you said the biggest thing for Democrats is normally money, right? But Campa-Najjar has raised more money. They're like, but it's small donors. We don't like small donors. That's insane, that's insane. It makes him more competitive and it means that he has a real base of support. That's why you'll excuse us if DCCC and the Democratic Party, we think that what you're supporting isn't a better chance of winning. It's actually more corruption. That you want them to take the corporate PAC money, you want them to use your lobbyists, etc. So it's the same in Butner's case, but they also support Joseph Kopser in Texas' 21st Congressional District. These are all people who were just Republicans and switched over to become Democrats, and the Democratic Party's like, yes, Republican light, yes. And they've got a lot of money and they've got a lot of corporate PACs supporting them. In that same 21st District in Texas, you got mighty Mary Wilson. She already beat someone in a runoff that had $800,000, she had $40,000. And they keep throwing one pro-corporate candidate after another after Mary Wilson, but she will not give in, and she's leading again, and you should look into her. We'll have all the links for Campa-Najjar and Mary Wilson down below if you're watching this later on YouTube or on Facebook. But here we go, Virginia's 2nd Congressional District. The party has chosen basically Elaine Luria. She voted for her own Republican opponent, not once but twice. So progressives look at that and go, no, don't do that. The Democratic Party looks at that and goes, yes, someone who takes corporate PAC money and is this close to being a Republican and has voted for Republicans very, very recently, including her own opponent. What are you guys doing? California's 39th district. You've got Gil Cisneros. He's a Navy veteran, and the Democrats love veterans, and it's okay. And there's a lot of great veterans running, but we can have a whole range of folks running, and you should look for grassroots support rather than, they're pro-military, they're pro-corporations, they're pro-Republicans. Anyway, he registered as a Democrat in 2015. So if you were a Republican a minute ago, the Democratic Party's gonna love you. Why don't you support real progressives? So if they're not going to do it, as always, I'm asking you guys to do it. I believe these small dollar donors can make a huge difference. They are in the Campa-Najjar race. They can continue to do that. We'll put their links down below to help these guys. And the Democratic Party, you can see where their loyalties lie. And it is not with progressives. And that is what's so deeply frustrating.